Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Yo, everybody. It's a special edition of the World of Marketing that we Thomas cleverly is titled the Rem-demption show. And so the Rem-demption World of Marketing episode. Why are you shaking your head, Rem? I think that's.
I think it's great. I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody that's not on video, you got to, check a YouTube channel out every now and then and see what we got going on in video, because a couple things. One, we got Thomas now on, and Thomas is sitting up in the command center with the enterprise behind him. Mm-hmm. And then we've got a very skinny version of Rem Jackson that those of you that have not seen Rem Jackson in quite a while, you must see this, because I have to double take my buddy, because I'm like, wait, there's about half of them missing. And I'm like, whoa. So congratulations to you, Rem. I know that you've worked very hard at this, and wow, great job. That here we are in the middle, or wherever we are, the beginning, who knows, in this pandemic, this crisis. And instead of sitting home and eating, marshmallow pies and fretting about it, you've lost a tremendous amount of weight, right?
I'm down. Yeah. From 65 pounds. And I got another 40 to go.
That's about a cow, a small cow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But not only that, I mean, the other silver lining in all of this was, so I got the blood work back from my doctor, and he said, Rem, you're 10 years younger now than you were a year ago at this time. Your numbers are all anti-aging numbers. And, for me, that's it's already a total home run. So it's
good for you.
Been wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for doing it. Thank you. On behalf of everybody that loves you, I say thank you, because now we get to have you around longer. And that's a big thing. So
that's part of the goal. It is part of the goal for sure.
So Rem, thank you for joining me so quickly. We pulled this thing together, and I feel like we just kind of said, hey, let's do it. And I know you're a busy guy, and we squeezed it in here on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and a day of honoring for freedom and liberty. And hell yeah, we got to make sure that we protect our freedoms. And one of them is our businesses, right? And our lives and our livelihoods. And so I thought we would talk a little bit for everybody. And this is going to get released this week. I'm inserting it in. Talk to everybody a little bit about 2020 and your experience, because you talk to a lot of different doctors and lawyers and lots of different people all every day about their experiences. And then I want to talk about what do we do in 2021 and goals. And we're going to do all this in quick, if that's possible with you and me, but we're going to try. So with that said, 2020, what are the big takeaways in your thinking?
For me, 2020, I mean, I always have to start everything that in my own thinking and inside myself with remembering that an awful lot of people lost their lives this year due to a terrible the pandemic. And so I always start with that and all the empty chairs, and we got to remember that. And some of us are living that. And I also think even at this moment right now, everybody be really careful, because the infection rates are very high, and we're getting, we're not at the end of this, but the light at the end of the tunnel is there. It's not a train. And I think 2021 is set to have really great tailwinds. And so I will tell you, Tom, this all started to kind of come to a head for all of us, I think, somewhere right around the first or second week in March. And by mid-March, I had a meeting with my top performer group, which is a group of top practices members, podiatrists, that are executing at a higher level and have been with me for a while. And that was probably the bleakest business meeting I've ever been on. I mean, it was bleak. There was a lot of real serious concern, existential concern for their practices and all of it. But we just worked on plans to get through it. We ended 2021 with the same group of people, and with only one exception. And there's a specific reason why. Every other person was saying, yeah, well, we just had the best year we've ever had. We're not even, you don't even count the stimulus, the money, the things that came along. It just, this has been great. And I said to them, I so wish I had been able to transport myself to the future and come back with you guys and your voices now back in March and play this for you. Because none of you would have believed that that's what you'd be saying now. And so the thing I asked them was to hold that memory, and the next time that you're faced with something and it brings up that feel of fear or the hair in the back of your neck, or you think this stink bomb's going to take me down or whatever it is, don't forget that happened before. You have always landed on your feet, and you always will. And as you alluded to, Tom, I mean, the silver linings that have come out of 2020, for me, it's a restoration of my health, which I had been so really wanting to do, but struggling with. And, I've achieved that. Top Practices has grown during this time. And I've always said the only place in the whole world I still want to visit is my own house. And I got a chance to do that. And I have to say, it's as nice as I thought it would be. So, and by the way, I'm all set to get out on a plane and go visit places too. But
right.
Yeah, I'm not saying no, but and the Groundhog Day facet to this has been rough. But, in World War II, my grandfather, Rem Jackson Sr., had to go to the Philippines. And he was there during World War II. He got malaria, and he struggled with malaria for the rest of his life. I've had to deal with watching, the season 4 on The Crown and stuff like that. So I'm just saying that that doesn't mitigate what we're going through, but let's all just remember, this is a great event. Yeah. This will be remembered as a great event. And, but it's in the past. And like you said, Tom, I mean, it's interesting. If you talk to other doctors, podiatrists,
we've had some of them on. We've had Peter, Mary Beth.
Right. But you've had those forward thinking, it's like the little kid in the stable, and he's in the place where they put all the horse poop, and he's like digging in there with a shovel, and they're like, what are you doing? He goes, with all this crap in here, there's got to be a pony somewhere. And so that's the people that you work with. That's your clients. That's your Top Practices clients and our members. But many folks, they're not recovered now. And it's 100% what's between
all in he's pointing at his head, everybody.
All in your mind. It's all. Henry Ford said it, and it's as true today as it ever was. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're probably right. And so, yeah, I'm enthusiastic about this year. Really looking forward to all of it.
And so, like, what would you want? Give me just an example, if one comes to mind, of one of your clients, one of the doctors that you work with, that you coach or you mastermind with, that really did something different and special during this time to pivot, to reinvent, because that's really kind of, I think, one of the biggest messages for all of us, is that we've got to be able to pivot, that we've got to be able to adapt. Adaptability is critical. And you and I have talked about this for years, is adaptability. That goes along with scalability, but adaptability in dealing with the change in environment, which this certainly has been. And what are you going to do about it? You're going to sit and like watch the water come over the wall? Or are you going to figure out a way to fix that, or move on, or move, you know what I mean? And so do you have an example of somebody that would be inspirational?
Well, yeah. Okay. When you asked me that, and Tom's asking me this, right now for the first time, and so what popped into my head was Jen Sartori and Natasha Bozeski up in New Hampshire are two podiatrists, partners in their practice in Portsmouth and Nashua, New Hampshire, and one of the things in podiatry that doctors, foot doctors, will often have what they call routine care, where people come in and get their toenails clipped. And they, and it's an essential, it's an important service. It's something that matters. And many podiatrists find that to be rewarding good work. And they also find other problems, and they, build their practices that way. And a lot of podiatrists say, I would rather just not do that anymore. I want to see the interesting cases, the heel pain cases, the traumas, the different things that are just more, not only more interesting and engaging for me in the day, instead of just, toenails after toenails after toenails. I would rather do this. And it's much more profitable for them too, and just in use of your time. So like, for instance, you can have a toenail case come in, make $65. You can have a heel pain case come in and make $2,400. Which would you rather do in the next half an hour or 15 minutes? It's a business case to be made for it. And yet, when you
the toenail ones could possibly bring in the heel pain ones, right?
That's right. So as a podiatrist are listening to this, sure. I don't want to make the mistake. Don't make the mistake of think Rem's saying get out of the toenail clipping business. I'm not. No, this is a personal preference.
Lost leader. That's right. A lost leader, lost feeder.
However, the point I want to make is they wanted to refer these out. They would much rather not have that business, and they'd rather focus on the other things and really grab back some time for themselves. So in this period, in this pandemic, with all the pressures, whatever, they just said, that's it. We're going to make the step and we're going to do it. And they completely transformed and pivoted their business. And now, they're positioned, cost them revenue, cost them patient numbers, possibly even some referrals. So there's a cost to it, but they made a decision for them. It was what they wanted to do. And then they just did it. And they have not looked back once. So that would be, one example. Another one real quickly would be that, Melissa Lockwood in the state of Illinois has a marketer that works for her that is just really like a video producer. And they have taken their work on video to like all kinds of levels.
That's great.
Her husband joined the practice, and he's an accountant, but he also happens to have a heck of a voice. He's got a tenor, and he's a good singer. So they've done a lot of parodies and fun things, and some fun videos, but they've really taken video. Nice. And they're advertising on Hulu. And they've got a series of commercials that they're just doing on Hulu, where the woman drives up in a car and he's dressed in a mechanic's outfit, and she asks him a question about, when can I have, when can I get my car fixed? And he's like, and then he acts all these things that you would not want ever accept from your mechanic, but we seem to accept, from our doctors. And they're like, not here, you need to see us, you're going to see us. And they've done some great stuff. So just a little bit of that. And but more than anything, it's just courage, and doubling down on their goals and making sure that they take their goals seriously and they execute. And everybody that did that, Tom, they just, they came out stronger than ever, really strong. And the last point I'll make on that is I've been trying to make this point to my doctors. So at some point this year, they're not going to have to space out their patients in the way they've had to, physically space them. And it's not going to, you can actually have people sitting in your reception room again and breathing each other's air and not worry about it. And they're not going to have to be suited up as much with all this protective equipment and all that's involved. And my point is, it is going to be so much easier for them to just run their practices. Don't go back, folks. Whatever you picked up and got better at this year, don't go back. My advice to them was steal that time back and either Go golfing on the weekend or on Friday if that's what you want to do, or use it for rainmaking, but don't say, yeah, let's go back to being less efficient. Learn the
Yeah,
lessons that
good
you've had
point.
to do, stay with it, don't give it up, and turn that into improvements for your life.
That's a great point. And so you brought it up, you said it, write down your goals, or you got to make your goals. So that's a good segue into the kind of the beginning of the end of our little quick discussion here, is about goals. And you and I have known each other for many, many years, a couple of decades.
Yes.
Beautiful thing. And you and I have always been about making goals, and very specifically writing them down. And that's one of the things that you instill in your coaching clients, right? And all the
Yes.
doctors. Don't you have them go through a goal? Don't they have to keep a goal sheet and go over it with you, and they're accountable to you for that and all that, right?
100%.
So I wanted to show you, and I'm going to share with everybody. It's a little secret. So, well, it's not really a secret. I don't really have secrets. But I wanted to show you something that I'm pretty proud of, which is our goal sheet and what I use for my business. And I just encourage everybody to have something like this. Now, mine is very complicated because, I'm a complicated guy, as Rem knows. But this right here is a sample of a goal sheet. And Rem, I'll just explain it to you. It might look a little bit more complicated. It's actually attached to a very complicated business spreadsheet that I built that gets me to my end numbers, ultimately in the multi-million-dollar revenue number. I'm just going to give you a quick look at that so no one can remember. I guess you can freeze this YouTube video if you want and really get a look at that stuff. But you know what? Like I said, I don't have anything to hide. That's what I'm going for. And so far so good with the team that I've got and I'm building. So basically, we have our goals, and this is new continuity. So I have my products. If I have products, I list them there, or services, and I list them there. And then they have their numbers, and it's very based on in terms of like what I want to sell. So these are sales goals. Now, obviously, when we're talking about goals, we could talking about like, I'm going to spend more time with the family, all that kind of stuff that you're going to talk about, but I'm just talking about sales. What do you think about my big spreadsheet here?
I think it's great, Tom. Well done. You get what you track, you get what you follow, and if you're paying attention to it, you're going to achieve it. If you say at the beginning of the year, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then but you don't have any way to know where you're at, then
You have no idea.
you're fooling yourself.
And this is what, I have been talking to my coaching client. You and I both coach our clients, and this is what I've been introducing to them recently. And so anybody that's listening to this that wants to talk to me about goals, I will give you a copy at no cost of my goal sheet. Would you want it, Ram?
Please, I would love to have that.
Because I have Connie making like blank copies, and then I can kind of explain to you how it works. Because ultimately, it adds up, and you can track it. And we meet every Monday at 10 o'clock with the sales team and go over this. And I have Connie keep all the numbers updated of what happens, and we track everything we sell. And so this might change or whatever, but it's based on averages. So it's so this is new continuity. Continuity is very important. And so I encourage everybody to get on some kind of continuity plan with your clients where you have repeat business constantly. And everybody can do this. There's no business that cannot have a continuity plan. If you want to know about how to do that, both Rem and I can talk to you about how to set that up. And so this is like ongoing continuity stuff and the increase. And so this is new clients, new site builds, new tools, new services, new emails. So for you, Rem, it would be like, new mastermind members, new newsletter, new books. And so, or for your client, for podiatrist, heal pain
That's good.
patients,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's very simplified, but you put a number in there and you basically just based on what did I do last year?
Right.
What did I do? That's the starting point. And like add one.
Mhm.
It's simple as that. Add one. And right, Rem? I mean, like if you don't, and so anybody wants to talk about this more, I'm going to stop sharing it because I can only look at it for a little while because it gets me. And so anyway, everybody has access to it. Your whole team is looking at it. It is your goal sheet. It's your scorecard. I actually did this years ago. I've used it always for when I was in software sales and I had to make a quota. I had to meet a sales quota. That's kind of where it started. And I was like, well, crap, if I want to make a certain amount of money by the end of the year, then I got to back this up. And so if you want to say, if you're $500,000 firm today and you want to become $1 million firm, how are you going to get there? You can't just say it. Sure, you can say it. That's step one. Say it. And Rem, you said it, have confidence.
Yeah,
And
reverse engineer the number and
yeah,
what is it
exactly.
going to take? Mm-hmm.
Reverse engineer the number all the way back, like, multiply it, spread it across your products and your services, break it down by month, then by week, then by day, and for you doctors by hour, and you lawyers by hour in many cases. And it's really that simple, isn't it, Rem?
Yeah, I just had this last Saturday, I led a Kickstart boot camp for 2021 for new members to top practices. New mean like the last 3 months or like as recent as the day before. But one of my doctors was on there and she was sharing her goals and she'd worked it so good. I mean, she was down to specifics, like, this many orthotics this month.
That's
And,
great.
it's, yeah. And, orthotics is a great part of
Yeah.
podiatry. And, I mean, she's already like achieving numbers that are higher than she did all of the previous year. I mean, it's crazy and that just translates into all of it. It takes so much pressure off as well. I mean, we do a goal setting workshop at Top Practices with all of our members, and we do it over the summer. I think
Yeah.
that's the best time to really be thoughtful and take your time. We do it all summer long. Let's relax and take it easy because doing it in the fall or near, saying that you're going to do it over the holiday, is like the biggest lie we always tell ourselves. No, you aren't. You're not going to do that. You're going to eat like extra cookies and hang out and do whatever you're doing. You're not going to do your goals. So take the time in the summer and you can do it. But Tom, one thing I wanted to share was, my head's very much into this one thought, and that is every single day, just try to have your best day ever. Just have a good day today. And you're going to get the letter, the thing's going to happen. I don't know, whatever it is that's going to conspire to mess up your day. If your first goal is that no, today in the present moment, which by the way is the only place you've ever lived, you can learn from the past, but you can't dwell in it. And the future has never ever come, even though you think it's coming, it never arrives. You're always just in the present. And you can control the present moment. And as Tom and I've said, the power of now is really, really critical to have your best day ever. And so I've been spending a lot of time, I'm writing a book right now called Your Best Day Ever. And it starts the night before. So before you go to bed the night before, I mean, there's lots of science about how to sleep better, in terms of even stimulants, caffeine, or things like that, screen time, just how do you wind down and have a good evening. But every night before I go to bed, I have a conversation with my subconscious mind, which is a giant supercomputer that you have access to through your conscious mind that is got one job and one job only, and that is to help you. It's to help you get done what you're thinking about. So if what you do is you worry all day, or you're angry all day, or you're frustrated all day, your subconscious mind is, okay, let's do more of that. And if you're worried about something happening, your subconscious mind will help you not have it happen, but have it actually manifest. I mean, this stuff is not like spiritual magic stuff. It's just what you're paying attention to. It's what Tom's spreadsheet was. You get what you pay attention to. So instead, and I got this idea from Napoleon Hill, to actually speak to your subconscious mind because it's listening. Every night before I go to bed, I say sub, because Napoleon Hill called his subconscious mind sub. So I do too. Works great. You can come up with other names. They're kind of goofy, but sub works. And sub, tonight, I want to have a good night's sleep. And I don't want to wake up. Do not wake me up with anything that's bothering me. In fact, I've got a mental vault and I put it all in there. And if there's a particular issue, like we all have, those little stink bombs or things that are bothering you, I mentally put them in the vault, I seal it up, and I pull a curtain around it. It helps me for whatever reason. And then I say to sub, hey, listen, you can work on this all night long. Go ahead, solve problems. And in the morning, we open it up and I'll say, what do you got for me? And every once in a while, I have insights, eurekas that come from that. But what I really have now is almost 100% of my evenings are evenings where I have just interesting and fun dreams. And I never wake up with my mind racing about this thing or that. So you start the night before, and in the morning, and every one of my podcasts, I end this way: you smile, just smile. When you wake up, no matter where no matter what your mind's at, whatever's at, just smile, just a simple smile. And that smile does one thing for me. It reminds me about the blessings that I have, because if you have the ability to listen to World of Marketing podcast and my voice right now, you are a blessed person. You have this much time to devote to something like this. Your life is filled with blessings. Yeah. And, don't be that person that's like, yeah, but this is wrong, or that is wrong, or all these things that are outside of your circle of influence out in the world. Okay. So what? Focus on, where I live in the land of Rem, and the land of Rem is a very nice place because I've curated it to be that way. And then that gives me a little more patience, a little more ability to just focus and then really stay on my health goals, my business goals, my personal, my financial, my business, my fun, and my health goals. And again, now for the first time in decades, my health goals are in excellent condition, which means they're all in good shape for me now. So anyway, and then just have your best day ever. Nothing is more important. Nothing.
And that leads to a lot of happiness. Health and happiness is living good. And that's all what we want. That's what we want. And so that's really the message that let's leave everybody with, is that when it all swings around, I think that you made some great points in this little episode that we did. The one point is that I want to say again is don't go back to what you were doing before that was ineffective and driving you crazy. And that's really kind of like your point, is that the lessons from 2020 should make all of us appreciate what we have right now in this moment, love each other, because life is precious. And and 2021 is going to be even better, and we're going to love each other even more. These are trying times right now. We got the inauguration, who knows what, that's 10 miles from me, craziness around this town. But not much control, right? We don't have much control over that. No reason to get worked up about it. It's going to swing back and forth, just like you said at the beginning. And, our job is just to ride the wave and enjoy it either way. And so, Rem, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for, being buddy of mine and a business partner and one of my mentors and a forever mastermind alumni member, I guess, that started it all. I credit much. There's a lot of your DNA in FWM in my business. And I feel the same about Top Practices in many ways. And we've, always kind of been there for each other. And so, and we will continue on for years and years in this capacity. And that's part of the joy of business. And so with that said, Rem Jackson, thank you so much. Do you have anything else you'd like to say to our people?
Just thank you, Tom. I mean, there would be no Top Practices without you. All your, your brilliance, the internet, the websites, the understanding and the tools, they would not exist. And the friendship.
The internet, I didn't invent the internet, but I appreciate the reference or the inference that I might.
The knowledge about the internet and how to use it. When I met you, I thought I understood the internet, and then I met Tom, and I was like, oh, that's what it's all about. So, no, it's been great, and just enjoy yourselves. I mean, the alternatives. Yeah, why live there?
Yeah.
Exactly. Wherever you live, try to make it as nice as you can. I've certainly taken the land of Rem and turned it into a place I like going to every day. So, all right, thanks, and let's do this again, Tom. Good luck, everybody. Have a great year.
Thank you, man. All right, everybody, take care. Thanks, Rem.
Rem.
Thanks, Thomas.
Bye. Yeah.